All right, so what's up? This is Conscious Content. Today I'm here with the one and the only Jamie Butler. Very excited to have you here with us today. Jamie has had extrasensory abilities her entire life. She's been able to see energy as well as being clairvoyant and clairaudient, meaning she can see and hear spirits.
Yes.
Jamie launched the Center for Love and Light, where she hosts teachers and healers, lectures from all over the globe. She creates and inspires spiritual growth through public channeling, classes, and sessions for all ages. She's the author of With Love and Light, a true story about an uncommon gift, and also the spirit translator of two books, My Son and the Afterlife, Conversations from the Other Side, and the second being My Life After Death, a memoir from heaven. So she has tons of awesome videos where you can find her in action on YouTube and get a great variety. You have a great variety of content going on the Lighter Side show, where you've done trance channelings and awesome interviews and provide tips and tricks, techniques to feel spiritually connected and live a whole, well, life kind of a thing. It was amazing. Jamie could also be found on Channeling Eric, where you've really explored some like fascinating topics like spirit contracts, past lives. You've channeled Jesus, Hitler, Nikola Tesla, aliens, just to name a few, and also provide like tips and advice from Eric, who's a soul on the other side of just how to get by. So right off the bat, a lot of people are gonna be like, "What? What are you talking about? Dead people, energy bodies, like the afterlife?" It's like, Blaze, you sound crazy right now. What is this? Like, I personally feel that like many are missing out on like a lot of layers of reality, and like nothing's wrong with that necessarily, but then there's other people like you who you know on a daily basis could tap into and acknowledge these other realities that are simultaneously coexisting. So I'm definitely a huge fan of you and everything that you do,
Oh,
and this
thank you.
is very cool. You're very cool. Everything about this, I'm super excited. Thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything that I missed in the intro there?
That was a very thorough intro. Thank you. No, you missed nothing much. We do
Great.
have an institute, the Love and Light Institute, which is our nonprofit, where we're hosting teachers that emphasize how to keep the mind, body, emotion, and soul all on the same page and get your needs met. And so
That's
we're running free classes and give backs through our institute here in Atlanta, and we're hoping to launch it later on this year and kind of take it a little bit more global.
that sounds awesome. That sounds great. Definitely stay notified with that one. So let's start off with getting to know Jamie here. So tell us a bit about your everyday perceptual experience of life. Like, how vivid are these abilities of yours? Can you like just go through like exactly all these things that you could do or you've developed over the years?
Hmm.
Like,
All
how
right,
do
so
you?
you keep me informed if the sound is going off because I'm getting feedback. But you got me good?
Yeah, from my side is great. Yeah.
Okay. So my abilities, I don't know, a lot of people want to call them so many different things, whether it's a gift, an ability, a curse, a talent. For me, I really want to start looking at it as a norm. Even if we have to dub it the new norm, I really believe that it was common base the entire time. And then somehow our culture, as it shifted and grew throughout history, it started to ditch and dump being intuitive and started taking on intellect, structure, process.
Yeah.
It was more comfortable to do it like that.
Yeah.
We could get masses to follow along very easily. But all of a sudden, when we start adapting to being spiritual or intuitive or have these abilities that we're discussing now, you're an individual, footprint. And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, we can't put masses together because even though maybe some of the listeners and viewers right now find themselves to be clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsensitive, we might not be doing it the same way. And so we can't really hang in these broad sense of groups. So for me, I like to consider a new norm. And I think I would side more on managing it rather than using it.
Okay.
Like if, let's say if you're a super smeller and there's just fragrant smells everywhere, and you're like, enough is enough, and you put little nose plugs in. You're like, can't deal with it. I was born with these abilities, and it gets to the point where enough is enough. I see lights and rainbows and colors and glares and spirits out and about, and it really wreaked havoc on a huge part of my life. So it became a sense of managing it, and it wasn't until early 20s did my family really just say, it'd be pretty awesome if you really learned how to use this and helped other people with it as well. And that was never my dream growing up. I never envisioned myself like sitting here, being interviewed by you, having the center, the nonprofit, working worldwide. That was never my dream. I always saw myself more as a teacher, an entertainment, a person in the media. And so now I'm working right now and kind of marrying, that's a new word, let's take that. Marrying those two concepts. Like, definitely. I totally want to be the Martha Stewart of spirituality. I love my Martha Stewart. Love her.
You definitely are. So far, you have definitely influenced so many, impacted so many with all the great, oh my gosh, you're definitely on the right track if that's your intention with everything. So, but exactly, like, how vivid is it? Like, what exactly are you seeing? You can hear it as well? Like, that sounds a little, like,
Oh, I got it. Okay, have you ever pumped gas into a car?
Yeah.
It's a strange question. And then you look near the handle and you see that warpy gas fume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, add a color to it. And if you could add a color to that warp, that is
like a
the
heat
density
wave kind of a thing?
of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Add color to that kind of heat wave density thing. And that's the kind of texture that I see them. Because you can still see through the energy, but it shows up with my eyes. And there are some times where my eyes aren't picking up on it. I'm looking at a 3D world, but then inside of my head, there's a hint of something layered on top of it. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, I see it out in the world.
Wow.
Like I was having a talk with my producer this morning, and then I started laughing. I just tuned out. I couldn't hear his words anymore. He was so blue, I could barely see his face. And I started laughing and kind of him hugging with my assistant going, "Are you looking at that? That's incredible." And he goes, "Well, what are you doing? What?" I'm like, "You're all blue." Like his features kind of went away and the energy was glowing. He was in a creative process. He was being very vulnerable and honest. And you could see it emitting from his body. It's a great cheat sheet.
So you said that you see a lot of like colors and energies everywhere. It's interesting that you say that because I was actually listening to you in another video saying this, and I went, holy crap. My entire life I've seen colorful static everywhere and hear a ringing noise in my ear. Does this mean I'm somehow connected to have these abilities as well? But I don't know what to do with it. It's just there and I'll talk about it and everyone else is claiming they don't see colorful static everywhere and hear this sound. So do you think there's a link there?
Yes, I would say absolutely. If you're seeing the color static kind of a thing, and sometimes people will see it in blobs or sparkles out of their peripheral vision instead of directly on, that is subtle light energy. Yeah, like there's great techniques and things that you can use to hone in on it.
Okay. So you see spirits and energies like all the time. Do you have like, do you have any privacy? Because could they like tap into your thoughts and just see you from the inside out, like in the shower? You're just like, hey, spirit friends.
I will confess, in college there were several years I sustained from intimacy because I was so terrified of looking up and seeing dead people.
So they're always
I didn't know
there.
What to do. Yeah. Can you imagine being in the throes of passion and the young kind where you're a little kinky and you're trying to figure it out, and then like dead grandpa walks in the room and you're like, you know? So I used to chant, go away, 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 if I wanted to do something that I thought was maybe not so okay in mainstream or whatever it was. And it really, really messed with me. But now I understand they don't care about any of that. Yeah. They're like, yay, go for it. You're human. You want to try this and do that and poke that or whatever. You're human.
Yeah.
Go for it. They're not over there judging on a cloud playing a harp.
That's good.
It's not happening.
That makes sense, too. It makes a lot of sense. So that kind of relates to my next question. Did you always love it, or were you ever like tripping, like not too much, make it stop, too distracting, it's just not okay as a human? I'd rather not have see this.
As a young child, it was the best thing ever.
Okay.
Never alone, felt loved, supported. I knew answers to things that maybe my parents couldn't convey to me, and it felt extremely comforting. And then as I grew up and I noticed other people weren't doing this, and the vision started coming stronger, they would wake me up at night. You could feel little hands on your body. Hey, Jamie, get up. And it was always sweet things that I was hearing. It was never like a haunting or evil, but it would scare me. And there were many times that I would sit with my fingers in my ear and rock, go away, 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 go away. And I figured if I could just say that enough in my head that I wouldn't give them room to come in and go, we love you, everything is okay. So I'm like, it's not okay. It's not okay. You know, so-and-so's not doing this. They don't see the people in the room that I'm telling them about. And you start to recognize that you're picking up on something that they're not. And maybe you are crazy. So I asked my family to put me in the hospital, gave me drugs. They declined. They told me I needed to own it. So unfortunately, that sent me out on my own, and I did a plethora of drugs to make it go away. And as soon as I would sober up, those beautiful beings and the beautiful light was there. And now you are frozen, and you wanted to know when you were frozen.
Oh no, am I frozen
Smile
still?
big.
Am I completely frozen still?
Nope, you're not completely frozen. Now you're pixelated, but at least you look good doing it.
Oh no, do you think I should start the recording again, or do you think it's like, it's good now?
Can you not see yourself?
I see myself. I'm not
Pixelated?
frozen on my side, so we're good.
Then maybe it doesn't record it.
Okay, I think we'll be good. All right, so it sounds
So
like
yes,
yeah, it sounds like you could have a movie of being Jamie. This sounds like a full out feature film.
does anybody want to write that out there? I think it'd be
It's
fun.
it's
to
gonna
do.
happen. You already know that this is gonna happen. You're such a public figure. Sooner than later. Oh wow, I would love to work on that. I'm in media production as well. So how could interacting with these realms benefit one's experience rather than being just some sort of a distraction?
Wow, so many ways. In so many ways could it benefit. The first point is understanding that we don't die. You know, there is such a undercurrent of fear of death, fear of not existing, the fear of it ending. You know, even if we're not running that story up in our conscious mind, it kind of supports us because our culture talks about it. You know, we don't have a really warm embrace with death and dying right now in this age and time. You know, it used to be that way where we'd care, provide, and make it part of a transition. Now it's more of, hey, you better do everything before you die. You're not going to get a chance. Get one shot. You know, we have a lot of motivational conversations where it's just one time, do it right.
Yeah.
And I'm separate than you. So for me, not being afraid of death, not being afraid of really injuring myself. You know, it's not to say that I go carefree anywhere and everywhere. I do protect myself, but I have this sense of knowing that I'm okay and knowing that I'm not alone and that we're all into this together. And it's those same thoughts, actually, if you flip them on the other side, that can wreak havoc in the human experience. You know, because I long to be on the other side some days. I have a hard time waking up and realizing I'm doing that human thing one more time. And it's like, I would love not to do this.
Especially after all the things Eric says, being like, oh, it's so great on this side. You can do anything.
Right?
Human existence is kind of like the closest thing to hell there is. Da-da-da. I'm like, oh, man. I better be here for a good reason. If this is like, I'm hearing all of this, I'm resonating with all of this information. So
you're here to shake it up, deliver the message.
Clearly.
You shake them up, I'll wake them up. How's that?
That sounds good. So you've channeled so many different energies, spirits, had so many different interactions. So could you just like channel anyone you desire anytime and fully see and hear them, or like how does this work?
When you talk about channel, just to clarify, you're talking about trance channeling?
So there's the two. There's trance channeling is when you embody these energies and you kind of go in this trance state and they'll kind of take over your body. I have a question about that in a second. Like where do you go during that? Are you like do you leave your body? Are you chilling in like the middle ground or let's just finish that one or I'll ask you that one first. Channeling.
Well, just to clarify, we mentioned the word channeling. So I have two distinct types.
Mm-hmm.
One where I see the entity in the room and I hear and convey the messages. So I'm channeling their words. And I can do it fairly quickly now. You know, I'm 25 years into doing this as a career.
Yeah.
And so I've practiced quite a while in doing it. The other kind is where I incorporate the body, incorporate the entity into my body and trance channel. Can I call in any dead person at free will? No. I tried for decades to talk to Elvis. Huge fan, by the way. And when I met channeling Eric, when I met Elisa, she was like, oh, let's interview celebrities. Eric, can you get them? And Eric was like, sure. And he would bring people in, and it was just like crazy. What? Like, you just can do that? And he's like, yeah. But for me, I had meditated. Oh, it'd be so nice just to see Elvis. Now that I'm saying it out loud, right? Cool. But that's what I wanted out of all the dead people I could think of. And it never happened for me until Eric was relaying and bringing them in.
Mm-hmm.
For me, no.
So when you're doing the trance channelings, when you allow them to like enter your body rather than just seeing them and translating what they're saying and doing, once you're doing these trance channelings, like where does Jamie go? Like are you still in your body just like watching it unfold, or do you leave your body and watch from the outside, or what's going on?
When I first learned how, I was maybe 22,
okay.
23. I'm 43 now. And I remember I would share space. I almost felt like I was two people in one body, which that's messed up. So I started feeling like I was falling out or going behind. I practiced astral projections and outer body experiences and got very good at those, so that I would leave and the other could come in. But I remember I could kind of hear my mouth or hear my words in my mouth. But then after a few more times, I just started going to sleep. So I can feel myself moving out, falling back. Ooh, you know what it feels like when you're super exhausted and you reach that point of sleep where your head goes, you are about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And you just go, ah.
And you let go.
That feeling. Boom, you can feel it. And most of the times I'm in complete black darkness. And it's warm and sweet, but I don't hear anything. I don't engage in anything. There's a few times that I travel. I feel like I go somewhere, maybe with pink trees and blue, like weird shapes and stuff like that I can't really explain.
While you're doing trance channeling. This is while you're channeling in trance.
Yes.
You'll completely be in the astral plane sometimes?
Yes. And then all of a sudden I get this nudge. It's a feeling that I have to wake up, get up. And so sometimes I feel like I fall into my body or I lean into it.
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of jerk up and look, and then I always have that crazy sensation that I've been asleep so long that I've been drooling. And if you'll notice on some of the videos that are recorded, I immediately like open my mouth because I don't want to be seen drooling. That's the first time I've ever shared that with anybody.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. Wow. Okay, so what? How about when you're like unsure of a situation? How often do you just like connect with your non-physical friends to like give you clarity or like help guide you through understanding certain things that like you as Jamie are just unsure about?
Well, if I feel that I'm physically unsafe, 100% of the time I reach out and I talk to them. If I feel I'm working on a project or in a relationship and I'm having a hard time, I tend to do my best to work it out being human and not lean on them. Okay. I think there's a really great sweetness in kind of standing in your own power and strength rather than just constantly knowing that I can go to an answer book somewhere. Mm-hmm. And there's times where I'm not asking for guidance and they are there giving it. And they are there going, Jamie, sit down, shut up for a second and listen.
Oh, wow.
You know, because you're being too arrogant, you know, with yourself. You need to listen. This is where you're going to go. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And they're like, you will do it. And it's like, no,
Wow.
no. So I think right now if I am to ask for their advice, I probably take it maybe 90% of the time,
Okay.
and I probably shush it off 10%. But it takes a lot for me to sit down and go, okay, I'm asking. And maybe because I'm just too stubborn and I don't want to ask for help, or maybe because I do this for a living, that it's so much a part of my daily conversation that I don't want to do it when I'm on my own time.
Okay. Okay. So in ways, it's not like they're just like the all-knowing non-physical, where it's like you could just use them as a crutch for like any of your problems. It's a lot to do with your own free will and your own feelings and emotions
Yes.
in like the situations. Okay. So that's great.
Yes.
So you said that you feel that everyone to an extent has access to these realms. So can you explain any tips and tricks, techniques for like us people that aren't so naturally connected to that desire to communicate or to be in touch with these layers of reality? Can you provide some techniques there?
I love that question. First of all, I would ask the person, so listener, viewer, decide how best do you learn? What's the easiest way for you to learn? Are you a visual learner? Are you an audio learner? Or are you a kinetic learner, which means that you're active into it? You like the touch, you like the movement. Decide which one trumps. You might find that you have two together and then maybe the third, but find out which trumps. And then look at how you can engage with subtle energy in that vein. So if you're visual, you'd be more clairvoyant. If you're audio, more clairaudient. And if you're kinetic, you're more clairsensitive or empathic.
Okay.
And then, breaking it down that way, acknowledge how you feel. Even if you're an intelligent person and you're all heady, sit down and ask yourself how you feel. Because most of the time when we're slightly uncomfortable or we get this little, you know that feeling?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually a very subtle, energetic sign or message that's trying to arrive, but our intellect and within our modern day culture that kind of shushes it away because we don't know where that
So
is
our
coming from.
intuition,
Yeah.
highly intuitive. So it's like trusting that intuitive little, hmm, that might be
Yes.
a sign or something that, or it could just be me just tripping in my head, but it could be something. The second you go back into your head, you've already like you didn't trust yourself. Is that it? It's more about like trusting your intuitive uh,
Nailed it.
senses. Okay. Because I've had
Yes.
a lot of intuitive moments, and you think about it, and then you go, "Do you know what? I've been thinking about it too." It's just like it feels like it's a downward spiral the more you contemplate it. But like in that moment, it felt so real, and that's that. So it's about just running with that moment. Okay.
Yes.
So after all you've experienced, what are some of the lessons that you've learned that's really stuck and helped you personally, like as Jamie, rather than as like a non-physical being in the astral plane? As Jamie, as a human here, what are some of the lessons or interactions that really stuck with you and affected you?
The one that has really stuck with me as a human
Mm-hmm.
is that even though I might believe in it 100% as a human, like it's a table. I believe that it's a table 100%. All my history has shown me that it's a table. And then I hit an experience where it's more than a table. My ability to be flexible and shift what I believe in is one of the most valuable gifts in being human. Like, I don't need to be sticking to my guns. My guides used to tell me, if you want to remain constant, always change. So
Mm,
change is your only constant. And they would repeat that, and I'd be like, yeah, I get that, because
okay.
we're always growing. But for me, it meant in my belief system, I didn't need it to be so strong and structured. I needed it to grow with me.
So you come from a place where it felt super structured for a long time, and then it started rapidly just shifting here and there, and that's like really it's opened you up.
Baptist, baby.
Awesome. So throughout your fantastic content on the Lighter Side show, you've addressed your followers as the Lumineers. So you want to tell us a
Yay!
bit about what inspired this and your intention behind that?
The Lumineers.
It's pretty
Because
self-explanatory.
when I started having students and repetition of students, when you get down into your career path for so long, you start to see familiar faces and you feel like family
Mm-hmm.
and you feel like you have something going on. And, one day I was like, we always joke, oh, my people are here. And I was like, oh, that sounds really weird. And my friend was like, well, what do you see them as? And I was like, balls of light. He goes, oh, like a lumineer? And I was like, oh my God, my lumineers! Because they look and appear like gorgeous light. And that's for anybody that crosses my path. So I was like, that's it. I'm going to call everybody a lumineer now.
I love it. All right. Okay, so time to connect with the other side. So
Time
first,
to connect with the other side. Can you hear him?
Okay, just like,
Just a little?
yeah.
That's so awesome. Okay.
all right. So first, tell us: are there any spirits that are eager to come through?
Yes, we've already prepped that. So why don't I just see you in a little bit? Is that okay? And I have Colleen here who's going to help me manage time because sometimes when I'm under, I don't really understand
Oh,
time.
you're gonna do a trance channeling.
Yeah, is that okay?
Whatever you prefer. I'm just gonna be asking some
Okay.
questions from the trance state.
You gotta go?
I don't have to go.
Okay.
I just want to make sure it's okay for you.
I'm making sure that my office is secure. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't like to trance channel on my own. It's like doing the Ouija board on your own. It's just not a good idea. It's like only having the positive wire run through electricity and not the negative and the grounding one. So I keep another human body in the room with me when I do things like this. And so if we can keep it down to 10 minutes, that would be great.
Okay, but one question. So,
What?
when it comes to trance channelings, is it like because the questions I'm asking are just super. I know from the perspective of like the spirits that you talk to when it's like not in fully trance, you could ask them questions about like soul purposes and whatnot, and them existing
Sure.
outside of time. They could just see it all. Is it the same
Ask
stuff?
her whatever you want.
Okay. All right.
I'll
So.
see you in a second, okay?
All right. I'll see you.
You stay in your body.
I'll be waiting.
I know who's coming through. You do have a hoot. Okay. That's my microphone.
What's up? What's up?
Hi.
Hi.
Is your name really Blaze Fox? Is that your real name? Did your mom name you that?
Yes, it's my birth name. I've had it my whole life.
That is the best name ever. Hey,
What's-
Colleen's real name is Blaze Fox.
I love it.
And what's your
He
name?
wanted to know. My name's Maitland. That's Maitland. I'm 9 years old. I choose to be 9 years old, Blaze. I don't have to be 9 years old. I can be really sophisticated if you want, but I don't need to.
So what? You're really like infinity years old, but like you just like to perceive.
Ooh. Yeah, because in your eyes, if we think that time is linear, I've been dead a really long time. So I'd be super old right now. But I like to stay young because it's fun messing with people on Earth. I don't mean messing in a bad way. I mean letting them laugh and figure out who they are, because I feel like if you want to heal and learn more, I think laughter is very important. You're the same way. You make everybody laugh. You make everybody giggle.
So how do you know that I'm the same way? Are you able to tap into like? And how did you know my name?
Because I
and all
came
that?
and I saw you, and because I told Jamie that she had to do this.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Maitland. It's awesome.
Us young people, we have to stick together.
So why do you come in as a young girl rather than like an
Well-
eternal soul you are?
Well, when the last time I died out of the body, I was 6 years old. And when I had my life review, I really enjoyed that people looked at me kind of a little bit more with astonishment and wonderment. And I wanted to carry that on in the afterlife, so I picked this age to present myself. Too bad you can't do that on Earth, because you guys have it completely in your belief system that time is linear and you have a point A to a point B and you're born and you die and that's it.
Okay.
So that's your story.
That's very true. So you are you able to tap into like the universal perspective? Like you have all the knowledge of as any other soul. Doesn't matter how.
There's no tapping into it. You are it. So what you do, it's kind of like, let's say if you lived in a box. I would never put you in a box though, but this is just for the picture in your head, okay? That you lived in a box and you had a bunch of smells in the box and the smells don't mix. It's as easy as you moving over here to smell something sweet and for here to smell something sour and for here to smell a flower, and so that you can move all around.
Okay.
I made the chimes go off.
Okay, so I have some questions.
They're in the background. Did you hear them?
What was that?
I made the chimes go off.
How'd you do that? Oh, did you hit it?
No.
Are you in her body and outside of her body at the same time? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I don't have to be all the way in her body.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Okay, so I have some questions. Let's get down to some questions. So
let's do the questions.
So I've heard many times, if it's meant to happen, it will. So does everyone have a fate or a destiny and soul contracts, and how does this correlate with our free will? I ask this because free will, it evokes so much uncertainty sometimes, because people often, they want to feel like their life has a purpose, but like if there's a purpose and free will,
you talk a lot just like me.
How do these two correlate and go hand in hand?
Free will is number one. It trumps everything. Even if you call it destiny or that it's meant to happen, free will is number one. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about destinies or contracts or things that you're supposed to learn, those are things that you designed for your life when you came in, because there's nobody bigger or greater than you that's telling you that you have to do those in this lifetime. So let's say if you signed up for learning a lesson in how to be disappointed, but yet you're always happy and you're never disappointed. The opportunity for disappointment is going to come again and again and again until you experience it. And then if you're happy with that experience, then you don't need to do it again. But that's all kind of in the design that you created for yourself, because again, there's nobody bigger than you that's telling you how to do it.
Boom. Okay. So from your perspective, coming from outside of time, you're able to see soul purposes and intentions from, like, see people from the inside out, essentially, yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what do you see in me, first of all? How's my destiny looking? Am I looking happy and successful? I just got to ask before. Yeah.
Okay. I see you're a leader, and you cannot be an employee. You don't need to make a partnership with anybody. You're super creative, but you have a lack in belief that you can do it all by yourself when you really need to do it all by yourself. So when you're holding back and hesitating because you think there's somebody out there who can partner with you that knows better, that's going to do it with you and help you, that's a no-no. Because the way that you design this is that you're going to shine bigger and brighter than everybody else, but that you'll create a kind of leadership that has a ton of compassion, and you can bring everybody with you, and you really appreciate them, and you kind of teach them so that you're all equal, even though that you're the leader. And you will stay in the world of media.
Ooh, awesome. That's the plan. That's what I'm in school for. What else?
You'll have movies.
Oh, me, oh my. That's very exciting to hear.
But you'll be offered radio. Don't do it.
Okay, I won't. I'll take your
It'll
advice.
sidetrack you. It'll sidetrack you.
I'll slow everything down.
Well, yeah, because it's exciting and it's good pay and it's very good for you, but it's not your end-all dream. You're a director. You have a cinematographer. Is that how you say it?
That's awesome. See, my friends watching this are going to be tripping out because they all know that I've said for a long time I want to be a director. So
yeah,
everything.
He's a director. If your friends are arguing, you send them to me.
Awesome. So everything, both positive and negative, has a purpose, correct?
Correct.
So
neither one is greater than the other, but for some reason humans believe that staying positive is much better. There's so many things wrong with that statement.
Of course. So can we talk about the spirit contracts and tragedy, or the purpose of extremely negatively charged events like slavery or the Holocaust, or all these these current mass shootings happening, even like Donald Trump? But why? What caused these people, and what makes it necessary for them to exist from your perspective?
So, from my perspective, so this is from my opinion, and I'm going to do my best to talk in a linear language so that it would make more sense to the listeners. So some of the concepts might not blend really smooth because you just don't have the words in your language to really make it work well.
Okay.
So the good and the bad, the black and the white, the positive and the negative are all the same. Boop. Mm-hmm. So for us to say that one should happen because it's better than, which is a judgment, is inaccurate. They both exist. and they both are good. But we see on Earth as human form that the negativity causes pain and strife, and we've been taught that these are emotions that are less attractive, and that they don't give an outcome that's desirable, which is a lie. They give great outcomes. Plus, I think if everybody made friends with death and transition and change, then you wouldn't have such struggle and strife. Have you noticed people that are really open and that kind of merge a non-judgment environment and merge positive and negative to kind of be one? Anything that happens in their life, they're like, okay, let's go with it, let's roll with it, let's do it. You know, and they're not triggered by, it's not working the way I need it to work.
So, like, what are some of the reasons for these negative occurrences, like Holocaust and slavery or Donald Trump? Yep.
You're so funny by putting him in there.
Well, I mean, it's
He's
serious.
talking about Donald Trump. This has to be our last question, Colleen says.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here, I'm going to answer this one, though.
Okay.
I don't have to whisper anymore. I'm going to answer this one.
Okay.
Why? Well, on Earth, in this dimensional plane with these 3Ds, actually humans range from 0 to 5 dimensions, but the denser vibrational energies exist here, and that's what's so much fun. That's why you keep incarnating into these experiences. Notice I didn't say reincarnated, because re would mean again, which means linear. So incarnation, which happens simultaneously, because that's what time is. And we come back for these things because we feel like in this classroom or this style of learning that you really get more of a conflict, a hit, these things that reside with measurement and judgment that we just don't get in higher dimensional planes. Okay. So it's just the quality of the environment that you live in. And it's important for you to go through so that you can manage and know yourself. You know, most people say that when you're at your hardest time and your deepest struggle, that's when you show your truest emotions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Maitland. I'm very grateful for this interaction.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed this. I'm going to come haunt you. You know, if you ever lose your keys or you get locked out of your place, that's me. Guys, promise I'll open it up right away.
Please
I don't
do.
Keep you locked out forever.
Wow. You're a funny one.
Oh, and I like to move things. And so I will move your notebook. I like the notebook that where you keep all your ideas in. I like that you just keep them on paper as well, that you don't keep them in the computer. It's important that you keep them on the paper because you're a kinetic person and you like to touch things because you have this cinematography eye. Don't keep it in the computer because you close the computer and you can't see it and you can't touch it anymore.
Very true. Thank you so much. That's all very validating to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry if I talk too fast. I wanted to talk fast so that we could do more. I have to go. I'll see you later because I know where you live.
Okay, awesome. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon, baboon.
Later.
You're supposed to say later, alligator.
Later, alligator.
Bye-bye, butterfly.
You're awesome.
Hasta mañana, iguana. That's yours. Do that one.
Guana. What?
Hasta mañana, iguana. That's yours.
Hasta mañana, iguana.
That was good. Toodaloo, kangaroo. Oh, I gotta go.
Okay,
Bye.
Later.
I'm leaving. Thank you, Colleen.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. That one kind of felt like hypnosis. You are now going to fall asleep. What? Are you here?
Welcome back, Jamie.
Still working?
I love that. She's great. What's her name again? Magdalena or?
Oh my God, no, you keep pronouncing it wrong. Go ahead, because she'll come and straighten it out for you.
What is it?
I can't tell you how many times I've heard her spell her name. Did she spell it?
She spelled it.
Maitland.
Maitland. She's very sweet. Maitland. A very sweet girl. All right, so I have a few more questions. Is it okay if, like, instead of going to trance, you could just, like, maybe bring through, like, Eric, which I'm really familiar with, or one of your spirit friends?
Well, I do have a place that I need to attend to.
Okay.
But if you had any other things that you wanted to wrap up here, I know if we bring Eric in, that guy is never gonna cut me loose. I can already hear him in my head.
Yeah, he is a talker. That's very true.
He's a huge talker.
Okay, so
I should have emphasized that I'm going to be a little out of it after that. Go ahead.
that's all right. It's all right. I just didn't expect for it to be so short and so to the point there with Maitland. I just had a few more questions regarding like our current state, pop culture, social media, like social norms, this whole shift in densities and manifestation synchronicities, and yeah, just that was
The
basically
100th monkey.
yeah.
The 100th monkey. Do you know the story?
What's the story of the 100th monkey? It sounds familiar.
That's what we're going through spiritually. So was it Darwin? And I apologize if I don't have this correctly. It could have been his science marker, but my God, I'm stuttering. Hold on. Get back in. The scientist was following 2 islands that had the same types of monkeys, with the same kind of intelligence and lifestyle. And they would eat the fruits off the tree. And one monkey got an idea, because they used to grab the fruit, and if it was dirty, they would wipe it off. If they dropped it, they'd pick it up in the sand and they'd wipe it off and they'd eat it.
Yeah.
And one monkey washed it, and the other monkey saw it. And about the time 100 monkeys on this island washed the fruit, in another island far away where they couldn't communicate and they couldn't swim, got the idea of washing the fruit. And the islands, as it went, got the idea. So it reaches mass consciousness, the 100th monkey, where enough of us get the concept of this spirituality growth or enlightenment, whatever words you'd like to choose, the new norm. I think I enjoy that one. Mm-hmm. Then a person who is not seeking this information kind of taps into this consciousness.
Oh, yeah. I was talking to a channeler, and she was saying how all of her thoughts are just like, they're already there. It's just what we tap into. So it's like, it sounds familiar when it comes to the 100th monkey.
That sounds pretty cool.
Okay, so you said that you have to go now? We're going to wrap it?
Yep, we need to wrap it up.
Okay, so yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Jamie
You
Butler,
are
everyone.
so welcome. I'm with the Blaze Box right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Blaze Box. Can you believe
wow,
he's talking to me?
You're making me feel real special right now that Jamie Butler is telling me that. Okay, be sure to follow her on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Check out her websites, thelighter.show.com, as well as withloveandlight.com.
Yes,
read her books, get to know Jamie, join the Lumineer family, and thank you so much for influencing us with all your wisdom, and your life and everything you do is just amazing, and thank you so much for this. And I know it influenced and it must resonate with many people.
How do we get to follow you and haunt you?
Live channels, conscious content, where this will be on, and I guess just throughout life. This is my mission here. I'm here to, keep producing this content. So I mean, I'll be around.
Shake it up.
We'll stay in touch.
Shake it up, baby. I'll get behind you. Don't worry. We'll support you and having a big voice because it's important. Really, really appreciate everything that you're doing. Thank you.
As I to you. Thank you so much, Jamie.
You're welcome. Take care of yourself. Have a great Canada Day.
You enjoy yourself today, too, in Atlanta.
Thanks.
All right, take it easy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Lumineers.
Later, Lumineers.